Fast Market on the TD Ameritrade Network. I'm Tom White, joined by my co-host Kevin Hinks. But let's bring in our next guest for our cash tag segment. That's going to be Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio, joining us for a discussion on Apple. Welcome to the show, Landon.
Hey guys, good to be here. Thank you.
All right, so this might be a mixed bag report for Apple going into earnings tonight after the close, Landon. I expect iPhone demand to be there. They've stated that they're going to increase production on the iPhone 13 Pro, the Pro Max, but at the same time, some of their other services may be down, maybe demand starting to wane for some of those products. What kind of data are you guys seeing out of LikeFolio?
Tell you what, Tom, you nailed it. I mean, I think I could just sign off here. That's a really good prediction. So yeah, when you look at Apple, you have to look at the iPhone first, right? That's the most important thing. But there's a lot of segments to Apple. So in the last quarter, Apple's iPhone sales were 58% of their total revenue. But let's dig into some of the other stuff first. If we look at, for example, the Apple Pay, that is up about 13% year over year. And it's doing really well. And I just want to say it's up. I'm talking about people talking about using it or signing up for it. But when you look at digital wallets overall, that's up 107% overall. So Apple's benefiting from a rising tide, but they're not really keeping up with the rest of the industry. So a little bit falling behind there. And then if you look at, for example, Apple Podcasts, it's up about 31% year over year, but podcasts in general are up about 35, and Spotify in particular is up 170. So they're actually falling behind in this as well. But again, they're being lifted. So they're not keeping up with some of the competition or the industry overall in either one of these categories. But they are, being lifted. Now, when you look at some of the products, that's where there's concern. So pretty much all of the products are falling off on a year-over-year basis, except the most important one, the iPhone. And so everything on a year-over-year basis, people talking about these products and with purchase intent, meaning I'm planning on buying this product. People are saying that in any number of ways. That's our job to translate. But you can see here the iPhone is doing extremely well, plus 21% year over year, where everything else is really falling off, including Apple TV really falling off there. Some of this is driven by, obviously a lot of it's driven by demand. Some of it's driven by happiness as well. But if you were an Apple investor and you had to pick one product that was doing really well, it would be the iPhone, 68% of revenue. So doing well there, just a little bit concerned on some of the other ones. If you look at things like the iPad or the Macintosh, they've got tough comps. This is, coming off of a time when a lot of people were buying these new devices, working from home, things like that. So they have tough comps. Some of the others, though, the Apple Watch, the AirPods, and the Apple TV, they really have no excuse for not keeping up with the other, with some of the competition. So mixed bag for sure. Because of the weighting and because of where happiness is and where purchase intent is trending, we're actually fairly bullish on Apple overall with a plus 47 score. So definitely leaning bullish going into this report. And again, the iPhone doing really well, but some of the other ones are a bit of a concern. But again, you want the iPhone to do well because it's such a big chunk of the revenue.
All right, Landon, I have so much to go through here. Tom, how much time do we have? We need more time. Tell them to extend this segment. So first thing, the strength of Spotify is legit, right? They are the leader clearly in podcasts. But if I'm Apple, right, and Landon Swan is showing me this, I'm like, well, that's great. They're beating us in podcasts. How many iPhones is Spotify going to sell this thing? So I think we're leading in that category. I get it that they have competition in some of their small segments, like podcasts. But if you're going to be led by something, Landon, be led by the iPhone, right? We've been talking for several quarters how the earbuds were doing really well, and the iPads, when school went back, a big surge in that. But let's face it, Landon, if you want to be led by something, dance with who brought you, right? You want to be led by the iPhone, and all the rumors that I'm reading, everything I've read, is that iPhones are crazy positive. Katie Huberty thinks some of the revenue numbers, they think about 94 billion would be plus 5%. That would be a record. She thinks it's going to be north of 100. So people are calling for a blowout in terms of revenue. And even though, because, you know, it's funny, Landon, I look at your year-over-year purchase intent change and all the different, I think I've bought every one of those in the last year. I think I've bought all of them. I think I'm betting 100% here. And, you know, I look at Apple TV. Well, Ted Lasso can't be on every day. So you would expect a little bit of lightness there in Apple TV till that comes back on. But Landon, if you were going to have something strong, wouldn't you rather it be the iPhone in terms of Apple?
Of course. Yeah, absolutely. And it's a relief. Like if you took off the labels on the left, and you just told an Apple investor, hey, we've got one product that's up 21% in mentions and the rest of them are negative, everybody would pray it's the iPhone. So absolutely, this is good news for the company. And that's, you know, it's one of the reasons that we're at plus 47 going into this earnings report. We're bullish here. It's just a case where, you know, you get into a situation where you've got all these different types of products or services, and you're not running into the same company as the primary competitor in each. You're going against the best of a whole different industry. So I think that's where it gets tough for a company like Apple or one of these companies that breaks off and does lots and lots of other things. And it's a big challenge is, you know, hey, we're going to dive into podcasts and you got a behemoth Spotify. We're going to dive into Apple Pay and you've got all these different competitors in that. Apple TV and you've got, you know, 4 or 5 giants that you're going against. So it is tough to diversify and dominate everything. But the good news for Apple is when it comes to those physical products, the iPhone leads the way into, it's sort of the gateway drug into buying something else, because all of their physical products work so well together that if you can get those iPhone sales up, it is definitely a bullish sign for everything else because of the ecosystem that they've built.
Yeah, and Kevin, I'm with you. I think I've purchased at least one of everything on that list over the last 6 to 9 months. So I'm right there. But Landon, that's my point. So I got a new iPhone, right? But I'm not going to need another one for probably 3 or 4 years. I bought the AirPods. I'm not going to need new ones for about 3 or 4 years. So they're reliant on a lot of these secondary measures, the services side of their business, and they've seen substantial growth because people are in that ecosystem. But when you look at like Apple Pay and some of these other services portions of their business, are these the high margin portions where, hey, if iPhone sales do start going down maybe next quarter or the quarter after, this can offset that because it's already done that during the pandemic?
Sure, yeah. I mean, I like the idea of diversification and maybe some things slow down and you can pick up spots other places. So you've got, in my mind, you've got services and then you've got physical products. I think clearly we've established the iPhone's the physical product leader and will lead to other physical product sales. And then you've got the services that are much higher margin. And hopefully over time you get people into the ecosystem and then they start to realize, well, yeah, I guess I'll use the Apple Pay. I'll just use the podcast, the TV, whatever. It all works so well together. Hopefully that's the idea that they're going for. But again, it's not a home run report. If it was a home run report, we'd say all these products are up across the board. They're doing better than competition on all the different categories. They're not. They're hitting a strong double here with their primary product. I mean, iPhone is the primary product. Just a little bit of a side note: when we look at the happiness for all these different products, the AirPods are extremely low at 48%. It's the lowest product that Apple has by a wide margin. So that one concerns me going forward. I know it's not a huge percentage of their sales, but just be aware that people are very unhappy with AirPods. Everything else is in the normal range, 65, 70, 75, in that range. But 48 for AirPods is a little bit of a red flag for that product.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Mine pop out all the time when I'm on the tread. So
do mine, Tom.
Yep. But I still wear them, and I bought a new set, so I'm not happy with them.
I had to go back to the old ones. Because the new ones with the rubber tip don't stay in my ear.
Yep.
Same thing.
There you go. There's the data from LikeFolio once again proving our point here. All right, great stuff as always, Landon. Appreciate it.
All right, thanks a lot. Take care.
All right, that's Landon Swan, the co-founder of LikeFolio.